Hello, everybody. Welcome to Zelda Speedruns, broadcasting A Link to the Past NMG League Season 2. We got the Dark World Round 4 for you today. It's Tam versus Matt7898. Commentating for us, we have Chex Human and Clear Mouse. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. This is
Hello,
Chex,
everybody.
and I'm joined by Clear Mouse. Hello, Clear Mouse.
Hey, Chex, how's it going?
Good, good. We've got Tam versus Matt, and I'm pretty excited about this race. I can't even talk.
Yeah, no. So I mean, Tam and Matt, amazing, and it like Link to the Past players in general. Of course, very active in NMG, very active in Rando. I would say maybe they have different what were considered to be more specialties. Matt maybe tends to run a bit more of the more classic modes. For like glitchless. Tam though, I think they have dabbled in every which way. Especially they've also done a lot of glitches. But this is definitely going to be quite the display of execution. And Chex, you mentioned I think there was also a little bit of discussion in the Discord earlier, right? So I believe Matt backwards is also Tam, and I just looked this up. So a word containing another word is apparently called a kangaroo word or marsupial. Like, I don't think I knew this.
Like a Joey and a kangaroo mother.
Yeah, yeah. Like the example that they have is, for example, encourage contains the word courage, and these are kangaroo words apparently.
All right. Well, our runners are hopping out of
Yeah,
bed
that's right.
like a
Literally
kangaroo.
hopping out. Yes. Arguably the hardest hop in the entire game. I mean, honestly, have you ever tried to hop out of bed like Link does? It's surprisingly very difficult unless you have actually. I think you have to be in pretty good shape, honestly, to be able to do this.
Yes, that's right. In speedruns, the hop out of bed was added after SDA timing, which used to begin the clock after Link jumped out of bed.
Oh, really?
In fact, as soon as Link landed.
Really? That oh my gosh.
It was a strange way to time, but that's the way it used to be.
Yeah, I guess. Do you know anything about the history of that? Like, why they just because it would be more consistent, or people couldn't like there was just more variation? I guess.
I don't know. I think it was just an odd way to exclude the text mashing for some reason, and I don't know why it was excluded. So I don't have all the answers.
Okay, yeah, because that is actually very interesting, right? Because as part of the speed run, what we think we always start out with for NMG is that we are told in this case by, we're first told telepathically by a mysterious princess in a voice that she is in danger, trapped inside the dungeon of a castle, and that we need to go rescue her. And then of course our uncle, as we wake up, right, tells us, Link, stay home. It's too dangerous to go outside. Don't follow me. And of course, what do? Right? We go follow him. That's actually a lot of text, right? That's a lot of lore. That
there is,
for being able to skip all of that content.
Yeah, and thankfully it doesn't take too long to just mash through.
Mm-hmm. So. Although, right, but I think as we talk about actually speed running, NMG, all of these things, it takes tons of execution, lots of practice. Text mashing is part of that skill set. And I think actually, I want to say maybe something like, I think when Matt said when he first started maybe speed running this, he started kind of like timing things more accurately. And I think at some point he was like, I think I'm losing over a second like to text mashing compared to other people. So it is actually like quite a thing. You probably don't even necessarily like people don't realize it, like how important it is, considering there's, especially this game, there's a lot of text to mash through.
Yeah, the fact that Matt has measured that kind of thing is, it shows his dedication to the game.
Oh yeah, of course, Matt. In this case, he is considered the quote-unquote favorite, just because he does have about a minute's worth of PB ahead of Tam, 124.58. So certainly, in order to get a 124 PB in NMG, it certainly does take, as you said, lots of skill, lots of dedication, lots of practice.
And both runners go for ball and chain with an 8/. And Matt just gets there a couple seconds ahead.
Yeah, right, and of course, right, Tam is absolutely no slouch in terms of NMG, in terms of Rando, in terms of Link to the Past. As you just said, right, both runners, I would say go for, in this case, the fastest strat. In this case, which is the 8/ with ball and chain. Just have to be careful not to, you don't want to clink in order to lose time. You also don't want to get hit to lose health. despite this being the first segment of the entire game, as in we're only 4 minutes into the game, we have about 80 some minutes left to go. It's surprisingly difficult if you want to go fast.
Yeah, there's a lot that's sort of invisible time losses to runners just starting out. So it's a constant thing to work on as runners increase their time or better their time.
Right, yeah, and especially for escape, right? I'm not necessarily sure, I guess, how people necessarily, I guess, I feel overall about trying to practice out escape. Yeah, because on the one hand, it is the first segment of the game. You every single run starts with escape, right? So you certainly get a lot of practice. On the other hand, on the other hand, though, the amount of movement tech that you have available to you is somewhat limited. So the fact that you really can't force yourself or force Link in this case to go as fast as you may want Link to, right? And we don't have boots, we don't have hook shot, we don't have any type of movement ability other than, well, try to avoid the enemies, and we can pump for an extra frame, here and there, but that's kind of it, right? So it's certainly very easy to get, I would say, kind of like bogged down, or maybe just kind of have to like fight through some of the initial bootsless sentiments.
In the snake hallway, Matt. By the way, Tam is down to 1 heart, so it's slightly dangerous, but they've made it past the snakes, so they're good.
Right, yeah.
Matt had to pause a little bit, but Tam took a little bit of damage, so evened it out slightly.
Yeah, well, Tam, despite the actually both Matt and Tam kind of getting a little bit bodied here by both of them, but by the rats, Tam actually got a very nice 5 rupee drop from the rats. So already for a nice rupee money resource head start. Oh no, Tam! Okay, it's okay. It's okay. We can survive. The good news for, oh my gosh, Tam! Oh my gosh!
I love it. The quarter heart finish with rat frames.
With the rat frames and heart beeps of encouragement. Sadly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But unfortunately, we don't have Tam's audio going on right now. But yeah, and so unfortunately, the rat frames and the heart beep frames do not stack. But you gotta kind of see, this is actually a really nice side-by-side comparison, right? That you can see that the text box on Tam's side is actually scrolling just a slightly bit faster than Matt's.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, and so so speaking of no longer heartbeats of encouragement, as we're going through the Eastern Palace, on our way to Eastern Palace through the overworld, we did see Matt pick up Sankheart. Certainly in a race setting, this is a very sensible thing to do, right? It's arguably probably one of the best safeties in the entire game, even considering late game, but especially early game, we have basically 1 extra hit for most dangerous locations. Tam, of course, being on literally a quarter of a heart, like we could not take any more damage before kind of calling it quits, and so certainly for Tam, I think that was a very good pickup.
We saw Matt take a hit from an Octorok. He did attempt a slash. I did hear it, but it just didn't slash quickly enough. Tam also had to stop, and boom, both runners get past the Armos.
Yeah, but
a close shave with the Octorok on Tam's side.
But we actually see that Tam is coming in with twice as much health as Matt going into Eastern. Yeah, you mentioned in this case, right? Matt, I think, got bullied by one of the Octoroks, I think, on the overworld screen. He also got bullied by another Octorok going towards Eastern, kind of near like Sahasrara. Yeah, there's a good reason, again, why we want to pick up Sankheart.
For sure. Matt gets the safety heart, and Tam does not need it. That heart does not lose many frames. I don't think it loses even 5 frames.
Oh, really? Okay. I guess maybe...
It seems less than that in practice.
Okay. That seems so tiny and minuscule, 5 frames. Although maybe over the course of a run, it can still add up the stuff.
Back to the big chest room. We enter this room 3 times, basically. First on the upper floor, then twice on the lower floors.
Oh. Actually, I think you're right. I guess we just really like the screen. It is, we can only really go get the prize of Eastern on our final trip there, right? Because it's just kind of like the big chest kind of taunting us.
Yeah, right.
Ooh, interesting. So Matt ended up getting a second heart in the room where you're supposed to get the small key in Eastern Palace. I guess maybe he's a little bit worried about this upcoming room where you do need a damage to boost yourself off of the anti-fairies in order to try and use the iframes and pick up this pot here. Matt looks like he gets it no problem.
Tam needed another attempt, so slows down just slightly.
Mm-hmm. Another good reason though to get Sanctuary Heart. If we ended up taking one more heart of damage, Tam probably would not have been super comfortable. So Chex, I guess I'm curious, right? So as Matt and Tam are both kind of moving through Eastern Palace, so do you think? So at what point, I guess, like, would you consider to, in this case, like, slash your sword versus like boomerang versus trying to see if you can kind of like move or evade out of the way from enemies? Because every single little thing takes up time, right?
By the way, fast anti-fairy pot room for Tam. The anti-fairies didn't touch each other.
Oh, nice.
It's hard to make that kind of decision, Clear Mouse. It kind of depends on comfort, experience, situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have the best answers for that.
All
I just
right.
followed the script.
That's all very fair. Especially probably in a race setting, the more you can kind of fall back to muscle memory, I think the better. Especially towards end game, where nerves might be getting to you a little bit longer or more, just because you've already been playing this game at high pressure for 80 some minutes. Although speaking of though,
Yep.
so talk about being unfortunate. Matt barely missed the arrow drop as from the red Igor.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, he literally got sucked through the door before he could go pick up the arrows, and Tam was quite fortunate in order to get the 5 drop. Speaking of though, Matt's also really poor. By the way, we had 0 rupee drops from the Popos.
Okay. Yeah. Those 4 arrows are his only resources right now.
Yeah, it's okay. Everyone's got to start somewhere, right? We're just gonna be a bit scrappier on Matt's side, versus Tam can probably, comfortably coast through, probably in terms of resources. All good and said and done. But I think as you mentioned before, in terms about lots of experience with both Tam and Matt, I'm sure Matt has backup plans or backup strats in mind in order to try and get him through the rest of this game. Though we have, in this case, obtained our boots from Sahashala, the best item, arguably, in the game, because at the 11-ish minute mark, both Tam and Matt are dashing their way to the library. They're going to use those boots, well, pretty much as soon as they finish picking them up from Sahasrala, but in this case, we're going to be using the boots as the intended way of actually being able to bonk something off of, in this case, a bookshelf.
Yeah. That's just library policy.
I wonder if do you think any of the librarians would be upset if we actually try to do this in real life? Maybe, huh? I mean, maybe this is why the libraries are not intended here.
They have weird rules in Hyrule.
Yeah. Well, looks like though, as part of being able to use more boots tech, both Tam and Matt looks like they actually use spin speed right out of the library. Both of them not doing spin speed going into the library. I don't know if that's kind of, I don't know, I guess like runner's preference, because do you know how much time, I guess, in this case, like doing a spin speed would potentially save versus not going into the library?
I think that's 10 frames or
10
so.
frames? Okay. That's not too bad, right?
I could be wrong by 10 or so, but yeah, it's not too much. Leaving the library is a good one, saving 40 or so.
Oh wow, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Yeah, certainly. It seems like, especially when we kind of come to the mid/mid-late game, there is certainly quite a bit debate between which, with this case, runners' preference to how early in this case they can obtain the hook shot from Swamp Palace, solely based on their affection or lack thereof of horse spin speed and how many they have to do in this case for the game. Matt certainly is, I think, on the camp of I want as few spin speeds as possible. I'm not actually sure where Tam quite fits into that, but in this case, certainly would make a lot of sense. In this case, if the one leaving out of library would save more time, and that's the one they choose to do.
Yeah, glitches are kind of weird because failing them loses a lot of time. And getting them right doesn't save too much time.
That seems to be like a general speedrun mantra, right? As
It is.
Yeah, you try lose, save 20 frames, lose 3 minutes, something like that. Oh,
yeah.
Look at that beautiful 20 rupee drop on the Popos. Matt actually took the time in those cases to go out of his way slightly in order to go pick them up. Of course, one of the nice things about Desert Palace, as part of also the game design, is that we just, in this case, especially on Matt's side, maybe less so on Tam's side, but we have depleted most of our quiver from fighting Armos and in Eastern. So what nice way to be able to replenish our quiver by just basically heading over to the next dungeon that we're supposed to be beating. And of course, having a full quiver going into arguably the best boss of best boss fight in this case of Link to the Past. We are going to be able to use that bow and arrow twice. Once for, of course, Eastern Palace, which is of course the boss of Eastern Palace, where we got the bow, and also here for Landmolas, which is Desert.
Yeah, the boss is so different from the rest of the dungeon since it's so random and haphazard.
That's true. That is true. We actually kind of look at maybe, even if you look at like what the floor plan or like kind of the aerial view of Desert Palace, it actually does seem kind of neat, right? As in like orderly.
Oh,
Right?
it is, yeah.
Kind of, is intended to be, in its everything has kind of like a place for itself, and then you come up to Landmolas and they kind of try and do I guess they're like the complement, I guess, of the palace itself. I think it is technically the first cycle is fixed, right? But it just happens to be a lot of different possibilities, so it may seem like it's random. But everything else after that, it is. This is where all your hard work, dedication, and practice really pays off.
All right, so let's see how Matt goes.
Ooh, almost. But recently good first cycle. Tam is very, very closely behind Matt. Actually, also looks like a pretty good first cycle as well. And here is where the fun begins. All right.
Looked like an early 4.
Yeah,
Matt,
that's
maybe.
Good. I think that was a 3 cycle on Tam's side as well.
Nice. Yeah, Tam's very close to Matt at this point.
Yeah, no, this was I think actually very well done, basically on both sides of Landmolas. Always a great boss fight to see, and kind of just like this, Matt is actually, I don't necessarily know if he's like ahead necessarily, but he's certainly not in danger anymore. You kind of always want to have at least 8 arrows coming out of Desert, and so he's kind of in a more comfortable position than he certainly was before. Now, of course, Tam having 14 arrows, I think they have always been in this case, coasting pretty well. Although it's kind of an unfortunate dash there out of Desert, getting hit by a bomb. Health is probably not Tam's first concern at the moment. It's more probably the time loss, especially getting hit by a bomb. It's you're going backwards, Matt. Oh no.
The reaction from Matt to throw a boomerang to the crab that was catching up behind him, that was amazing. Yeah. Plus he needed the boom for the pickle ahead of him. And I'm wondering which he saw first, because I saw the pickle first.
So this is actually quite, I think, a good testament for people who may be on the fence about switching over to the boomerang after beating Landmolas. What do you think, Jax? I think if he didn't have that boomerang equipped, I mean, he could have still paused, but
Yeah.
this saved like quite a bit of time and health for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, Matt is a good salesman if this is the product.
Mhm. Yeah. So I know that I don't yeah I know that some people do like to do the boomerang, and it is actually, for what it's worth, a free menu after Landmolas. The timer, the game does not actually pause during the cutscene after you beat Landmolas when you catch the pendant, because we don't actually have the mirror yet. So you can actually have plenty of time to be able to pause, switch over to the boomerang, and still be able to catch the pendant in the same time. So if you it doesn't always have to be for that pickle going into fake flipper. There are many pickles ahead of you, right? For example, the ones that you saw trying to lift the rock going up Death Mountain as well. Those guys get in your way. You have you're well equipped to do so, literally.
And it is mostly free to switch to boomerang, but if you're high up when the land modes are defeated, then it might be a little tricky to catch the
Oh
pendant.
yeah, that's also a good point.
So
Yeah,
there's some drawback to that.
So maybe it could be maybe be like a game time decision.
Okay, so Hera is probably the most dangerous segment. In my opinion, it is. And it's already beating up our runners. The overworld didn't seem too bad for them.
Oh yeah, both of them, as you just said, they're paying the gatekeeping toll. That mini Moldorm going into Hera Basement has claimed 1 heart at least from pretty much everybody that has tried to go in here. And of course, while we like more health, right now, at least, Tam being on 3 hearts, Matt being on 4 hearts, I would say considered still to be pretty comfortable. The most of the Hera is still, at least going up the tower, is probably not going to be too bad, but it is, you can never have too much health in Hera. Pretty much everything that will do damage to you, just like the mini Moldorms, the Kadongos, the tiles, Moldorm itself, everything kind of does 1 heart. All the more reason, of course, to have that Sanctuary Heart safety to begin with. But especially upstairs, you can get bodied really, really quickly.
No additional damage from any Moldorms in the basement, which is always nice.
All right, nice Beatles room actually, both for Matt and Tam. I don't know if Tam necessarily would have wanted that heart from the beetle. No harm real done though if they ended up just kind of getting sucked in a little bit early. Always kind of cool to be able to see the sword kind of hit the switch from the ricochet of hitting the hard hat beetle. Really nice time saving strat there. Just like that, the petting zoo claims another heart from our runners. Yeah, this place is very dangerous.
Get past the Kadongo, and it's fire,
Tam.
and the Moldorm that always catches up when we want to pick up that bomb pot. Right. So Tam's at 1 heart, and Matt is now going into Moldorm at 3.
Oh no, Tam unfortunately was too high trying to do a bumper skip, but unfortunately had to drop down into the pits. Take number 2. Although Matt here so far is having actually a pretty decent Moldorm fight. Just kind of, and he's as part of his experience, right, just kind of trying to read, in this case, how Moldorm is behaving. Yeep. Oh no, Tam, though! This is the danger of only being on 1 heart for Moldorm.
I find that getting the fight started is awkward, and Tam couldn't space out enough from Moldorm to start out. I don't know how to do that either, but it's really hard to find that position.
Yeah, no. And in fact, this is kind of the certainly maybe in a PP attempt, you don't end up hitting probably the switch. Going into a Moldorm with only 1 heart is, we're kind of like seeing the reason, right? Is something, anything, because Moldorm is just so, his movement is so unpredictable. It's just very difficult to be able to kind of come out of the fight unscathed. So you kind of always want kind of like a safety heart. But Tamis is going up this time with 4 hearts. Yeah. Looks much better.
And Matt picked up a pot in the descent cave to bring his arrow count up to 13.
Yeah, you can again never have too many arrows, but in this case, Matt probably just wanted the backup ones. He has gotten pretty unlucky in terms of drops. Well, he missed the drop unfortunately from Eastern, but also the beetles didn't, the crows, and nothing else has really helped him out this game.
Wow, Matt looked so close to that mushroom.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. It's okay. Matt knows what he's doing. He doesn't need an extra mushroom in his menu.
And Tam takes down Moldorm easy every time after the first time.
Yeah. No, Tam did a great job in this case. Moldorm did not stand a chance. Oh my gosh, Tam was almost gonna get dead rock there too, right in front of Hera. That would be very, very frustrating to say the least. I'm not sure if I've ever saw anybody like hit the dead rock, get dead rock, and then have to like maybe go back into Hera in order to reset. that would make me sad.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that before. Big if true.
All right, so slightly different Death Mountain descent. So right, as you mentioned before, checks. Matt decided to get those arrows from DMD. In this case, Tam decided, well, Tam doesn't have to in this case, and then kind of wisely being able to use the menu buffer over to Bo in order to go shoot the pickle, or the bird, sorry, in order to kind of buffer and hedge their dash, basically. Because if you bonk at the very end of that cave, or going up for that matter, it is so costly because you're gonna fall into the pit and then you're gonna have to go through the entire animation of like the screen slowly moving back to your original location. It is sad.
And Matt is going up into Aghanim's tower with full hearts, which is definitely what we want to see. And the beam strats will be helpful throughout this dungeon if Matt can keep them, but of course, one room in particular tends to take them away.
Only one, right?
Yeah, just one.
Gravy? Okay. Yeah, alright, so you mentioned before, having sword beams. This is arguably one of the most important rooms in order to keep sword beams. You see how Matt, in this case, took a sword beam, one for each of the blue guards, then dashed right through. The goal is to preserve the prize packs so that we don't end up getting the ferry too early. This is all part of the route in this case. So 45 minutes later, when we're eventually into Turtle Rock, we can hopefully take advantage of a very major health refill and not have to waste it early. Was this the room, by the way, that you were talking about, Chex, that takes away your heart?
This is the room. The dark maze.
Oh, this is a very rude room.
Matt, I like the way he tanked the bat, which does nothing. It didn't matter because it's just a quarter heart. But then the blue guard got in his way.
It's like they know. They have some sort of not bat signal or bat sense. They have something about all of them being connected together. They know when you're there. By the way, so Tam coming into Aga Tower, very actually close to being able to losing their sword beams as well. They took a bonk on the tree, alerted all the guards, but Tam was very quick to react in order to try and get away from them, and then still was able to preserve their sword beams. Oh no!
Tough situation for Matt.
Yeah.
In the circle of pots, but he pulled through it.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate when the red guard just decides to kind of move in his way, and so then you don't really get like a clean boomerang to the small key.
It was a rough start because he missed the pot pickup.
Oh,
so
I see it.
That threw off all the timing.
Right, Tam though looks like getting through dark maze. Yeah.
Blue guard totally ignores Tam.
It's okay. Tam is very quiet, right? So I think Tam probably has their sneakers on as well to being able to tiptoe away. Not anymore though, because Tam decided to use their sword, and then the guards hear all the sword beams.
Oh yeah.
They are quite loud. All right, so Matt is starting his Aghanim 1 fight. Matt has a pretty terrible record for League Season 2 so far in terms of blue balls. I believe his total sum was 15 in the first 2 games combined. We're gonna hope that it doesn't hit that many, and in fact, I don't think he's gotten a single one so far. Alright, Tam making their way through. Actually, pretty nice finish here for Aga Tower.
Looked like a 1 for Matt. So that's a 6-second time loss, essentially, from optimal in the fight. Tam now entering Aghanim.
Yeah, hopefully in this case, Tam will have a similar luck in terms of Aghanim blue balls. Of course, this, unlike a lot of maybe like randomizer races that have been kind of like going on the last couple years or whatnot, this is 2 completely different games. There is no such thing as a seeded RNG. Everything is completely different, so we're just gonna have to hope that in this case Tam gets something very similar.
Yo, Tam gets the boomerang out of bounds.
Nice. Wait, is that still legal? We can still keep racing, right?
We can still keep the race.
Okay, all right. I trust an admin, especially for a glitched expert in this case. All right, though, Matt, coming into Piles of Darkness, he has successfully escaped the Ropas so far, which is great. We are coming up here. This is the reason why we ended up having to basically try and take no damage on the way to the pedestal and back, so we could literally pick up the money that grows on trees. So we can, in this case, pay off a very entrepreneurial monkey in order to lure him over here to the Piles of Darkness and then open the gates for us.
Looked like Tam had 2 blue balls, so that just loses 6 seconds compared to Matt.
Okay, yeah, that's so. It's always really good to be able to see the number of blue ball differences being very small, right? I mean, while I don't want to, in this case, wish any, ill will upon, right, Matt or Tam, but if they end up getting something like, 7 and 9 blue balls, that's much better than, let's say, someone getting 6 blue balls and another person getting like 2.
Essentially, that would
It would be
make
quite
for
the
not so
yeah.
close of a race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, of course, it does happen. This is, of course, an NMG quote-unquote vanilla game, right? And this is kind of the risk or price you pay in this case for the game.
Oh yeah, and I kind of like it because it adds variety to watching races. Some races will be close throughout. Some races will have someone start with a disadvantage and then they have to catch up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and especially, not sure in this case if Tam or Matt kind of keeps an eye on the race, for example, but I certainly know that some runners like to actually watch the restream. They like to watch their opponent, and kind of depending on where they are in the state of the game, it also does affect them how they play, right? Some people, I think, really, just like when you're doing a PB attempt, some people like to see a lot of red early on because that really motivates them in order to try and, well, in this case, claw their way back, right? Maybe very motivated to come from behind. Could also be, in terms of being able to temper like nerves, for instance. Just so maybe you don't feel as pressured to, I guess, perform if you know you're behind. Oh no, Matt though.
I missed the reason why Matt fell, but the lineup wasn't right for some reason.
Yeah, I think right. I don't. It didn't look like he was low enough. It looked like he was potentially too high, but unfortunately, that he did have to in this case attempt another hammer yump.
Gets a second try. Matt is now down 3 hearts, so we'll most likely pick up all 3 heart pots, and goes for another bomb backup. So keeping his resources high so he doesn't run out later. Am now on their way to bomb jump. Excuse me, hammer jump. Matt going into mimics. Looks like... Okay. Tam had to use a couple of buffers to go up a pixel, and they got it just fine.
Yeah, at least especially fortunate for Matt as well, being able to still maintain his health, for specifically full health, going into, in this case, like the backup pod. We can still have sword beams in this case to be able to hit our switches, just like that. I mean, one of the dangers in this case of kind of failing hammer jump is not only, of course, are you down a bomb, you're also down another heart, and it kind of depends on what else happens in the dungeon. You may or may not be able to keep your sword beam because you only really get 3 hearts back. As Matt makes his way back to Helmasaur, speaking of health, this is the reason why, well, part of the reason why we want as much health as possible. Especially picking up Sank Heart, we are here on 7 hearts for Matt, full health, 7 hearts for Tam as well. Helmasaur does 2 hearts of damage, so that extra 7th heart can certainly give you that extra hit that you potentially need to survive the fight. That was actually a really well handled fight on Helmasaur for Matt. Helmasaur has certainly been quite the nemesis for Matt as of late. Probably killed, I would say, probably at least like 3 or something out of his last 5 runs. So it's certainly great to be able to see Matt kind of take revenge on him.
And I was just taking a look at Matt's stream. For anyone who follows Matt, you have the pleasure of watching Mattception. In other words, Matt's past PV videos, which are all of his stream, which have PB videos of past PBs.
Yes, yeah. There are like what 4? Yeah, I think we're up to 4 Matts at this point on his stream.
Yeah, and meanwhile Tam is going into Helma fight. No problems for Matt, but I was also watching the Helmas in his previous PVs. And fast Helma fight for Tam.
Yeah, Tam had a really good backup pod. So it came into Turtles, had handled them very well. It was very textbook, classically well done. Turtles room, no party. Also got the key dash going into Helmasaur itself, and then actually, we just witnessed actually a very, very nice and fast fight and safe fight on Tam's side as well. So nice. did quite well here on the backup pod. Oh, Matt dashing under a rope. Always cool to see from a viewer. Always terrified to see from a runner. You know what? We're gonna take that bonk. By the way, I'm not sure if you would have gotten hit from the Birdo, but you're probably willing to sacrifice like an extra second or something for bonking versus 3 hearts of damage.
We have Thieves Overworld. Our longest overworld segment of the speedrun, and we have, well, we pick up a bush if we're not careful. So Matt makes it to the Flute Kid, and we'll be going for a quick warp here. And each time we use the mirror, we try to position ourselves in a certain couple of X pixels to save half a second. And looked like Matt gets it.
Yeah, the quick warps are, so some of them, and certainly correct me if I'm wrong, are probably easier to set up than others, or maybe they have better visual cues. I'm not actually sure how easy the one that Matt ended up doing, I guess, like getting the flute. It does seem a very classic example, though, of when you get a quick warp versus not.
Yeah, I find it a little bit easier than others because we can use an item menu to check our position. So
Okay.
It's some runners use the edge of their monitors. Others have something else. Looks like Tam's got it. And there are 2 pixels in sequence that work. Tam's got the left one, which makes the digging easier. They can just hold up straight up out of the quick warp
That's actually really cool to
and dig.
know, actually. Yeah,
Mhm.
it also does seem a bit easier on execution, as you just said, right? Because
Yeah.
you don't have to think about anything after the quick warp. Literally
Right.
hold up and dig.
Yep.
Yeah, that's so nice. Ooh, all right. Looks like the Tam didn't quite get the spin speed the first time around. This screen going up library post Aga, arguably one of the most important screens that you need the spin speed for. Just because
Yeah.
if you don't have it, you are really gonna get bullied by that really fast moving red guard.
Yeah,
If you get,
if you go into combat with that guard, you really want to know how to do it.
yeah.
Oh, Matt gets tumbled into a Poe.
Yes, unfortunately, didn't quite got maybe too much of a ricochet and just got bounced straight back, losing 2 hearts of damage. He's probably more annoyed at the fact that it happened. Thieves Town is probably not the most dangerous place in this case for health. You again, you could never complain about having too much health.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, and especially for these, I was considered to be more earlier dungeons, maybe outside, considering in this case Aga Tower, because we really like to be able to have sword beams for at least for the start. Having sword beams going into Palace of Darkness or going into Thieves Town probably isn't going to be like that big of a deal, just because you don't really need to kill anything or hit anything from afar in order to kind of save time. So if you don't have full health, you don't have sword beams, not a big deal. It is kind of when you go into, let's say, like Ice Palace, later on dungeons, Mire, those are dungeons where it could really benefit you from having full health and sword beams.
Yeah, Matt tackled Hellway in 2 dashes, one on the left, one on the right, and it kind of snuck by the Fire Snake and Anti-Fairy, but still got tagged. Did not lose too much time there.
Oh, that was actually a really nice dash cancel on Tam's side. Not sure if they just nicked the Zyzak or something like that, but was actually able to get through pretty easily.
Yeah, it looked scary, but they just kept going, which is exactly what Link needs to do there.
Yeah, and I think ended up right. So when Matt was going through the Hellway, he ended up not quite getting, at least being able to go straight through. So had to do a little bit of adjustment. Let's see, in this case, if Tam can do something. This is oh my god. See, this is why we want more health, because Tam did a really good job navigating all of those, all of those enemies, because that looked like a terrible situation.
Yeah, it was a really tough spot for Tam to set up the second dash backup, but got it on the third. By second dash backup, I mean the second dash attempted. First one was on the left side, second was on the right.
Also, I mean, props to Tam for being able to handle a lot of this enemy RNG. I'm not sure if they ended up placing the bomb maybe a little bit early or just slightly off when they're kind of used to it, but they managed to recover quite well, taking care of all the crickets and still having the bomb explode. Nice slash there in order to try and get some of the iframes of the enemy in order to kind of move through them. Meanwhile, though, Chex, did you mention something about you like your run scripted?
I do.
Okay, well,
there's something about this fight?
Well, we're here in blind. You may or may not have heard that this is in fact a scripted fight from one person or another. I'm not sure if they really made that announcement.
I've heard that from A Link to the Past commentary.
That was actually, speaking of that was a very, I would say, nicely done scripted fight. You always kind of want to see Blind as much in the upper left-hand corner as possible. It's certainly great to be able to see Matt just kind of consistently take this down. He's good at this fight now. I mean, as with, I would say, most people probably at this level. It certainly had been somewhat more of a trial for him, kind of making his, as he was kind of going through the 125 to 124 grind. although Tam coming into a blind, I see. I would say, does Tam seem closer right now to Matt than they were before? Is it actually, because it kind of makes me
That's hard
seem
to
like,
tell.
yeah, I don't know. I got the impression that maybe Tam made up a little bit of time,
Hmm.
because they seem a bit closer. All right, Tam also doing a very nice job. In this case, barely being in the sunlight at the very end. So always really good to see.
Yeah. So now we are off to Skullwoods. Matt is stopping to save a frog and return it to his home in Kakariko Village, which is a smithy,
Smithy,
actually.
yeah,
A
a
smithy.
smithy, yes.
So we'll earn the tempered sword as a result, and that will make the rest of the game much easier and faster, especially at the end in the Ganon fight.
Yeah, faster, more consistent, safer. All of these great qualities that the Temper Sword can provide you, that you want when you're, in this case, making a speed run. Alright, looks like Tam is also going to do the same. You know, we have been in Dark World for so long. I'm really glad that Tam and, of course, Matt at the time was able to kind of stand right in the sun spot, I guess, in Blind's, in Thieves Town. You know, get their 15 minutes of sunlight and vitamin D before they have to go back into the Dark World. Gotta stay healthy.
It is important to get some sunlight once in a while.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got a successful fence dash for Matt.
That is
well done.
Correct. Yes, I know certainly last week when Matt raced, he also got fence dash. So really great to see the consistency here. The run is already looking promising. 45 minutes in. Hopefully, in this case, Tam will do something similar. Tam dashing their way to the smith. Temporarily swordless. Do not be alarmed. This is not a new NMG glitchless mode that we have to go play. We are only going to be temporarily swordless. Good thing we don't have to dash through anything.
Matt briefly got the pit state redash and was locked in an upwards position. It's so weird dashing to the left after the pit in Skullwoods. For some reason, Link has to delay a little bit.
Skullwood sometimes, depending on, I think, your positioning, can be... those pits can suck a lot. literally and figuratively speaking. A fence dash also, by the way, for Tam, as we had witnessed Matt going through the easiest room in the game, being able to drag and push that statue around the Gyptos. He makes it look
so
super
easy.
Alright, oh, unfortunately, Tam looks like some unlucky RNG getting right speared by the Moblin, or maybe left speared, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I think both Matt and Tam got the same RNG, I believe, because I saw that Matt had to delay as well. Tam just went for it, and that can be difficult to judge, but it is sort of a consistent thing. It is it's consistent because there are specific RNGs to look out for.
Yeah. So actually, do you know?
It's coincidental.
Yeah. So do you know if all RNGs are? I mean, like, can you always go through that room without delaying if you, in this case, adjust, or are there going to be RNGs that you have to stop for? Okay.
It's just one RNG. It's, I believe, the mid movement. The Moblin can move to the right, and if it moves to the right, it can go short, middle, or long. And I believe it's the middle one where Link just has to delay just slightly before the dash.
All right, that is unfortunate.
So it's uncommon, but it's the one to look out for. All right, we've got a moth fight for Matt. and he takes it
very
down.
nice. Yeah, very, very nicely done. Looks like I believe they got the dash poke, which I think it counts twice. As you mentioned, the temper sword makes things a lot more comfier, more consistent. One of the biggest reasons, of course, coming into the moth fight for that temper sword is, as opposed to master sword, which maybe in this case the game's intended weapon of choice for you, is that it only takes 4 slashes to the tempered sword, and if you get the dash one initially, it counts as 2. So you really only need 2 more hits. So it's really very well done on Matt's side. Tam, hopefully going to do something similar. Matt, I think, also had a good backup with Skull Woods as well, being able to slash the Gyptos into the spike, being able to do gold sword damage, and of course the bomb jump and any other enemies in this case kind of will also help you take away your sword beams, so you don't have to worry about fighter's sword counting for. Okay, everything's fine, Tam. Everything's fine.
And as Matt is off to Ice Palace, Tam is approaching the moth. It's a bit of a dangerous situation, but Tam should be able to clean it up.
Oh no! Oh my gosh, that was so unlucky. It looked like Mothula was down, actually. Like, Mothula's animation looked like it was going to be exploding, and then Tam got hit right before. Oh, that is so sad. Such a bully.
Yeah, it's tricky when it gets out of hand. And you have to just dodge the spikes and then watch Moth's movement. It's just too much.
Yeah. Although, so Tam, at least initially, is kind of demonstrating why it is especially punishing in this case, probably dying to Mothula, or maybe later on. And I don't want anything to happen for either of these guys, but we want, and like just like Cold Stare, Mothula, especially the back of Skull Woods, uses a lot of magic. Tam was trying to, in this case, farm up a little bit, got the nice full magic drop from the Gyptos, so was definitely able to at least recover some of that time. Coming back into Mothula. Tam. Nice job, Tam. Oh, phew. This is why we pick up Sankheart. Beautiful. Well done. Well survived. We're never coming back to this. Who comes here and says never skip Skull Woods? I don't know what they're talking about. Like, why would you ever want to come here?
I did. Don't ask me.
Tam is just gonna kind of fast forward as much as they can through the maiden's large talk, and then we're just never gonna come back here again. Meanwhile, though, Matt already on their way to Flippers. You're gonna purchase them for 500 rupees. Unfortunately, looked like he did end up not getting Quick Fish. He was trying to take advantage of the actual hit box as opposed to the hit circle around the catfish. Unfortunately, it ended up hitting or registering as part of the rocks as opposed to the actual inside. All right, Tam, though, we're out of Skull Woods. We are going to, in this case, go directly as following Matt's footsteps, going in to be able to go back to the light world, and then we're also gonna go pick up our Quake medallion.
So Tam had an interesting dash through into the Aghanim or Hyrule Castle warp, where they were a bit far to the left, farther than normal, and so adjusted to the right to look for the quick warp, but they didn't quite get it.
Okay, yeah, because it seemed like you should dash maybe closer to the right, and then it's like not quite against the wall, but it's very close, like a
exactly.
Yeah. Alright, so far though, just barely avoiding that projectile. I thought they were gonna get hit, but Tam knows better, so we're still at full health. Speaking of full health though, Matt has done a nice job being able to avoid any type of damage on the overworld screen. Whatever, dude. We're just gonna go. We're just gonna go with this room. Matt already had sword beams for this first room of Ice Palace, second room. I want to be able to, anytime you have sword beams and Baris, you can take down a room a little bit faster. Was able to get the heart back, We're gonna see in this case using sword beams again, killing Baris is exactly what we want to see.
We have Ice Palace Bomb Jump for Matt. This is a very important room. Getting it right, and he gets it right.
Yeah, very well done. He, of course, Matt and Tam, certainly very, very well practiced. I would be, honestly, like, if you told me that they can both do Ice Palace Bomb Jump in their sleep, I would believe you. They have practiced that quite a bit. Always real great to kind of see sometimes when... And of course, you may have your own opinions about pseudo boost, but if you forget that you have pseudo boost and you Ice Palace Bomb Jump and you try to bonk your way over, it doesn't quite work. But it is quite amusing to look back on.
I've never seen a clip of that in
Of course not.
Matt's channel.
Good thing this is NMG, there are no pseudo boots here. Alright, Matt on his way to Cold Stare. Tam almost out of the woods.
Ooh, look at this.
Oh no!
Oh no! Tam ran. So Tam pause buffered. Noticed there's a crab. In fact, 2 crabs in his way, but couldn't walk to the left of the oncoming traffic.
That was so rough because I think they had their sword out, right, and poked the first crab, but couldn't get, as you just said, couldn't get rid of the second crab. So it was just really unfortunate to take 2 hearts of damage down. Speaking of 2 hearts of damage, Matt took 2 hearts of damage from the falling icicle at the very end, but had a beautiful, beautiful textbook Cold Stare fight. Very well done. I didn't even know you could. I guess you can technically get hit as Cold Stare is exploding.
Oh yeah, that's not a fun way to get a game over.
That's also a good point. Alright, Tam though is making their way through. This room is very, it's not surprisingly challenging. It is just challenging, but at least it manages to navigate their way through the Baris. Is able to recover this guy's 1 heart of health from the pot, so still can't get sword beams for this particular room, but it looks like we're gonna be okay. We're just gonna slash everything to death. All right, Matt. Fluting away from Ice Palace, we are now at a point of the run where it is somewhat up to runners' discretion as to how they want to route the rest of in order to pick up the rest of their necessities for the game in terms of progression items, and depending on which order. So Matt, in this case, has chosen to delay getting his Ether Medallion and Ice Rod until after Swamp Palace. The primary reason being is that we actually do see that Matt probably is not necessarily the biggest fan of spin speeds, so if you can acquire the hook shots, you can avoid spin speeds for the remainder of the game because you could just hook dash your way through, and significantly easier in this case to probably execute.
Well, it's a matter of opinion.
You're right. That is actually true. So it is true of a very big matter of opinion. But that's why there's a debate, right?
Yeah, there is a hook dash, of course, which is merely 2 buttons at the same time, although you do have to hold another button down at the same time while you do that. All right, we have the Cold Stare fight for Tam.
Yeah, looks like a very good start on Tam's side. Poke, spin. Nice job, especially using that mirror buffer, or menu buffer to mirror in this case to kind of try and get that last splash in.
Yeah, I don't recommend mirror buffering. You'll return to the entrance.
That's very true. Alright, Matt also fortunate in this case to, well, no, I mean, it's expected to come in, of course, with sword beams into Swamp Palace. Not, of course, strictly necessary. Can still save you a little bit of time. We actually did see that Matt couldn't actually quite dash through all of the water tektites, and so was still able to use sword beams to kind of, in this case, kill the last one standing from afar and still be able to go through the door and open the chest. Alright, so let's in this case see what Tam decides to do in terms of where they decide to pick up their Ether Medallion or they're going to go straight to Swamp.
Yeah, I have a hunch, but I'm not 100% sure.
Actually, checks. Do you know if there's a preference? I guess it seems like when people pick up Ether and Ice Rod, it's always Ether first and never Ice Rod first. Is that just preference?
That's a good question. Um, and Tam is doing their collection at this point before Swamp. It seems a little odd, but there are a few runners who collect one item before Swamp and one item before Mire. But I don't think it's Ice Rod first. I don't know.
It just
But I
seems
don't
like,
think so.
yeah, it just it just seems like it's maybe more tradition. But I'm not sure if there was actually a good particular reason or a strong reason as to why Ether always comes first. But it looks like although, all right, so Tam, so the benefit, of course, of picking up. Go ahead.
One idea is for the collection in Swamp is that if a runner gets hit in Death Mountain, they can potentially farm a heart from the Ice Rod overworld, slashing crabs. But it doesn't work half the time.
Yeah, the enemies are not in this case your friend for many reasons.
And it goes against the Link to the Past rule, where if you go for a heart, you're gonna lose a heart.
Yeah, that is true, especially in GT. When you're on low health and you just want to refill, it's probably just better for you to just keep going. It is so hard to be able to claim some health back. But yeah, actually looks like though both Tam and Matt, or at least for Tam, going up Death Mountain did quite well, took no damage. So they're actually going to be able to come into Swamp Palace here with full health as well. It's okay. Looks like we've got some. We're just clearing up some technical difficulties here, so we'll definitely give you a radio version. Matt has drained the Tam. Meanwhile, is heading back into Argus. Meanwhile, Tam is making their way through Swamp Palace. Matt has drained the water versus Tam is going to actually flood the water. Nice parody here, or complimentary.
Matt has the advantage of resources and skips the restock room.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think at some point people are asking like, what is the optimal way of doing restock room? And the answer is you just skip restock room because you don't have to go pick up anything.
Right. But if you really want to know, the movement is described in the NMG tutorial.
Ooh, Matt trying to go for the 0 cycle. Almost. I don't know if that counted. There was something that happened at the end, but it did not.
Yeah, I didn't quite see what the reason was, but it was a 1 cycle. All right, resorting to chat commentary. So Tam successfully hit the switch and is now going to the left side of Swamp. So there's something funny about the Bari on the way to the left-hand staircase, and that Bari has an RNG where curve and loops over to the right, and that seems to hit Link out of a dash sometimes.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I could tell that Tam got the bad RNG for that, but still was able to get through. I'm not sure how many RNGs there are, but that one in particular is always dangerous.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're just listing yet another reason why we don't like Swamp Palace. The Swamp Palace is arguably one of the strongest let's not go fast dungeons that we have in this entire game. You know, there's certain, I guess, yeah.
Matt gets the hook dash.
Nice, yeah. This is the reason why I don't think you can ever convince Matt to not get hook shot as the very first thing possible. He's probably had enough spin speeds from, at least looking forward to having the last one be, in this case, rescuing the Smith. Alright, ether acquired for Matt in this case. On to getting Ice Rod, and then we are on our way to Misery Mire.
So with 16 arrows, I think Tam goes to restock here. I'm not 100% sure. Alright, Matt needs to get his Ice Rod now. Beams a crab out of the way.
Yeah, and just like Ice Palace, this is another, going into Misery Mire, we would really like to have sword beams going in. Second room of Mire can be done especially fast if you have sword beams. If you don't have sword beams, it's not the end of the world. We can always use the fire rod. The magic is not going to be too much of the concern, because fire rod does kill everything. We do get a full magic refill later on before we go up the stairs, where we really kind of need the light torches. It's kind of really the burning animation and the fact that the enemies just kind of stand there while you want to move out of the room. That's kind of what's more costly. Did Tam just get a 0 cycle? Oh no, he got the empty cycle. Oh no.
Yeah, Tam didn't get the hook dash to start, so couldn't really get the 0.
That's
but
unfortunate.
Fast cleanup.
Yeah, it's actually really cool to be able to see somebody recover in Argus. Oftentimes, I think a lot of what's very common is you start your hook dashes, and then you eventually get, let's say, you know, maybe 1/3, 1/2, 2/3 of the way there, and then bad things happen, and then it's just very difficult to be able to recover. So it was really great to see Tam kind of actually get right back on track.
Matt does not take damage during the overworld, which made his Mire 2 much easier to clear. Nice to have a lot of health in this segment. Alright, so Matt engaged the Slugula and dashed into it, but took a bomb hit in the process. I'm now going into Misery Mire. Matt on his way to the big key. I'm going into Mire 2. Cam has to take a turn to chase a Popo, but makes it through.
Yeah, to being able to, and one thing, of course, as Matt being able to, hopefully in this case, recover a little bit of health, and Tim hopefully also being able to keep their health up, is Mire is not necessarily like the antithesis of Swamp, but in this case, you know, where Swamp kind of nicks and cuts you, right, little by little, Mire is one of those places where if you get hit once, you just take 4 hearts of damage, you know, just like with anything else. And to actually keep some health when we go into Vitreous is actually pretty important in order to be able to kill or take down Vitreous very quickly. Ideally, we would have, let's say, 7 hearts going in. 5 is minimal. 7 is probably comfortable. But in this case, you know, even though we're coming in with, let's say, a lot of health, right? What, 13 hearts, 12 hearts, something like that? Well, we already take 3 hearts of damage trying to get the small key from the spike chest. You probably already, you know, and so you don't really have, I think, very much room to kind of use this buffer.
All right, spooky action glitch for Matt. We have 3 rooms in a row where we abuse the area of effect of the fire rod, and we can hit 3 switches.
Oh,
So,
Matt using his
there we go.
his pause buffer in order to get through that pit.
I like that, yeah.
Oh, I hope that top eye is gonna die because I think Matt missed it on his first spin, so has to do a little bit of cleanup. Just barely missed the 0 cycle though, but
Yeah.
you know, it still recovers quite well.
Yep. 1 cycle for Matt. Tam goes for the spark gamble, just takes a hit.
Yeah, not quite. Yeah, but in this case, right? It was at least it wasn't damage boost backwards. It was just damage boosted still.
Yeah.
Another good reason, by the way, to keep up health in Mire, because sometimes when you, let's say the overworld doesn't go well, like maybe you got crabbed, maybe you end up getting, you know, Slugulud or something else, right? Where you suddenly end up taking a lot more health. Sometimes you may not be able to go for that because a Scarlet Gable also does take up 1 heart of damage. Getting hit by Wizrobes also very, very painful. This is probably why sometimes maybe it may not hurt to be a little bit further south than that Wizrobe to be able to hook into the pot, because if you're too high and you hit the, you can't get out of your hook dash or your hook shotting, and if you then run into the Wizrobes, you just take 4 hearts of damage, and you're just very sad because you literally cannot stop it. It's kind of like watching a train wreck that when you're on the train at that point.
Let me out of this hook shot.
Yeah, we can't get out. All right. Speaking of hookshot, though, is Matt gonna get the infamous Waffle House? Close enough. We
wow.
didn't quite get through, completely unscathed in terms of time, but Matt at least was able to keep his entire health. All right, Tam coming on to Vitreous. Oh, jeez, these are. Oh no!
Oh wow, Tam took a hit.
Yes, it looks so good at the beginning, and I'm not sure what, maybe the spin was a little bit too late, or they just probably got nicked by an eyeball. I mean, that does happen.
Yeah, that's something. In the overworld, coming through the Waffle House drive-through, Matt had to slash a dead rock that was coming from the left, which was an echo of the Hera overworld where he had to slash or boom a crab coming from the left.
Yeah, that's a great memory. He was probably more panicked than the crab. But you know what? The crab was just practice. That's how he was able to handle the dead rock here, you know, on Death Mountain, because he knew that was coming.
These runners are so good. They're actually getting better as they play in the same run.
Yeah. I would also say that was really unlucky sword beams for Matt. So coming into Turtle Rock with sword beams is certainly quite the luxury, right? Because as we've seen many a time, you lose. It is so easy to lose health, and so the benefit of having sword beams is, well, one of them at least, is to be able to kill the Bari, because the Bari can basically just kind of like knock you off, especially if you're not careful. Baits you into slashing it, and then you fall off the platform. The sword beams can probably just miss the Bari, and I'm not sure how. But at least Matt didn't get hurt, so. But that bar, it's really a big shame that Matt is so likable, just because everyone wants his autograph, right? Everyone wants to be a part of his experience, and the Bari is no exception.
All right, a solid chomps for Matt. The chomps went left, Matt went right.
Nice tango. Meanwhile, though, all right. So
it takes 3 to tango.
That's true. We need chomps 1, chomps 2, and oh no. All right. Well, Tam at least can get through the Waffle House screen. Only takes 2 hearts of damage.
Matt going into Pokey 1. Downright RNG. Or upright. Excuse me.
This guy is a huge jerk, by the way. Matt didn't even actually. I mean, he got the nice fairy drop. Definitely puts him back into full health. We always want to see that. But looks like actually Matt is. I would say he's coasting quite well here in Turtle Rock so far. Now, as part of the prize packs for all the Pokies, we are going to come up with a couple extra ones here in a bit. The hope, of course, is to be able to get a full magic drop, which is next in the prize pack. Not, of course, required, but it will certainly just be, a lot more comfortable. And then Matt's going to do his best to, in this case, avoid the 8-bomb pack drop. Phew.
It looked like Matt almost walked toward the bomb.
Yeah. It's so tempting, right? Because you see, oh my gosh, 8 bombs, and I think also probably I don't know, maybe more experienced NMG runners, such as Matt and Tam, probably know to ignore or ignore the instinct of just picking up a gigantic, nice resource pack drop.
Matt has beams, so he breezes through Crystal Roller Room.
Yeah, Sword Beam's another great resource to have for that room. You could probably save something like half a second being able to use Sword Beams instead of, going through basically Samaria or whatever else. If you're really low on magic, another reason why you really like to have that big magic drop is so you can basically don't have to worry about magic for the rest of, in this case, your rest of your Turtle Rock before going to Trinex. There certainly have been instances where runners run out of magic and then they actually menu to like boomerang or something in order to be able to hit the switch, so you can save that little sliver of extra magic for this switch room upcoming here.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's a true statement. Fairy for Tam.
Fairy for Tam. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite get doesn't get over the blocks on Matt's side. So I had to unfortunately kind of do re-hit the switches again. Ooh, Tam.
So
just
Tam
barely kind of. Well, I'm not sure what happened. Tam got through chomps. All right, we got.
Tam got through chomps. Yes.
That's all that matters. All right, doing some backdoor strats here on Trinex. Classic 5 hits, and on the 4th one, switch over to the Fire Rod. Really nice fight here so far. Alright, just like that. Trinex is down for Matt. Really, 0 worries or harm on his side. Did quite nicely here on the fight.
Got the tricky down left RNG on the pokey key and used a delay strat, which it looked a little sketchy, but it worked. Tam got through unscathed.
So all of these ways of handling pokies, are they actually are they still part of the FMG tutorial as well?
Actually, no.
Okay.
Because I just recently double checked, and the down left RNG describes the fast strat. I mean, it just goes over the fast strat.
Okay.
But for that room, all the 4 RNGs are discussed.
Oh, I see. So I think part of it is, well, the good thing, there are so many people in the community just willing to help everyone else out. That was actually one thing that was actually very, very heartwarming and wholesome to be able to see. A lot of the high level, I mean, especially even like Tam and Matt, you go into their chats, they're more than happy to tell you about stuff that they do, to give you their experiences. And I think, they of course had their mentors, they're also mentor other people. So it was really great to see that.
For sure. Anyone interested in running a Link to the Past, come on into the Link to the Past Discord. There are always people willing to help out.
Hmm. All right, no fast beetles for Tam. At least being able to use again full magic drop from Samaria is more than willing to be able to take down. Oh, good. I'm glad they got the key dash. It looked a little high, but we're all good. Meanwhile, though, Matt is inside GT. Was that Spike Skip? Or maybe it was too far.
Yeah, GT is one of the most fun segments, and it's just action-packed all the way through. We've got a series of tricky puzzle rooms in the basement, and then combat rooms up top.
That seems to be kind of the trend or the theme of this game. So a lot of the palaces, I guess, we've gone through, right? They're usually maybe like one or two, floors, right? Very 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 wide and vast in terms of area. Lots of like
Yeah.
like maze-like rooms, right? A lot of puzzle solving. We actually then look at towers: Tower of Hera, Aghanim Tower, Ganon's Tower, everything that's like up top that maybe on top of what the second or third floor is just straight up execution, right? You just literally go from like one room to another, and it's just all combat, which is actually really great. At the very end here, right? As you said, Ganon's Tower, pretty much like the final dungeon of the game, right? All the basement is very tricky in terms of it does require you to, especially if you play this game casually, you could definitely find a lot of different small keys where you least expect them, and then once you found the big key, which Matt is kind of he's getting there, unfortunately. Might just be a little bit bumpier path in this particular case. But once we get there, we're gonna be straight up just on execution off of the climb.
Yeah, Matt had an incident in the setup of his ice armors where his left shots took him moving left. It got him moving left somehow. So
yeah, it certainly did look like a lot of the arrows, which was just very slightly off, all right, in order to be able to kill the Armos.
Yeah.
Okay, but that is all behind us. If that's the worst thing in this case that happens to Matt for this run, it's certainly not going to be the end of the world. But we are obtained our big key, so now we're going to climb the rest of Ganon's Tower, including facing off in the Gauntlet soon. And so this is going to be where execution really going to be able to shine for both Matt and Tam. Of course, arrows, very very important. While it is most likely not the most intelligent thing, I would say, for enemies, such as Ganon, to put in resources inside the dungeon, especially that are most vulnerable for their minions. So our hero Link can go pick it up and use them, but at least it's very nice for us. So we don't have to, go outside and maybe, I don't know, scrounge up for resources somewhere, or be able to try and just kill random enemies in order to hope that something drops for us.
Matt is going into Gauntlet. G1 was a little funky, but he got through it.
But G2 was quite friendly in terms
very
of
good, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, you do see in this case, Matt, well, of course, yeah, being able, so arrows, while they may not necessarily be that useful for the remainder of the game, especially for the Gauntlet, any type of projectiles in this case are going to be super nice. All the conveyors, all of the ice, you're gonna have a lot more difficulty controlling Link and telling him, in this case, like where to go very precisely. So it's being able to trying to use your weapons to try and impede other enemies, kill them quickly, while you don't have to move as much, is gonna be very helpful.
Tam needed arrows. Huh. I didn't notice that. So,
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that might have to do with Vitreous.
Oh, right. Tam left Vitreous with 7 arrows. So it looks like maybe in this case 1 more. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, very nice ice armless fight though on Tam's side. Alright. Big key acquired. 10 more arrows for the road. I think technically you can get through Mimic's one, and maybe, probably more often than not, they'll drop arrows. No reason to take that chance. You may as well just go pick up the free 10 arrows from the chest. See, you know what? A good thing that Tam picked up those arrows because those mimics decided not to drop a single thing. And mimics too, and mimics too. What the heck? Mimics are
Well,
usually more generous, but not today, I guess.
oh, nice strat for Tam. The Eddie arrow and the
Oh yeah,
spike
yeah.
switch room.
That looks so cool. Do you know how much time that saves, by the way? Is it 20 frames? Is it 10 frames? I remember it being
Something
somewhat...
like that, but I don't know.
Yeah, okay. I remember it being somewhat more significant than I realized. And so that's why I want to say something like 10 to 20. Alright, so now the arrows are coming, but the conveyor belt's too slow. It's okay. Tam doesn't need any more arrows after this point. Just having one or two is probably enough.
That pot throw for Tam is pretty good.
Okay.
This is a long one.
Yeah, yeah. Again, I mean, any type of, in this case, projectiles. Both Tam and Matt using the arrow to try and kind of impede that pink zigzag. That pink zigzag can be a giant jerk because he can just walk right away before you are able to kind of be able to dash right through him, and then you have to go chase him around as a result. So if you can basically get the arrow, it just slows him down just enough time for you to be able to dash through him.
Aghanim is down for Matt. This is a tough boss. Matt made it look pretty easy, but it is tough.
I think Matt and Tam make this game just look easy. They have for the most part they have, I think, played quite well. Oh, look at that. Tam just being able to dash right through that. That's the kind of RNG you wish for when you have swordless. I don't think Tam hit anything, but it was they just found this beautiful like open pass, being able to dash straight through that hallway.
All right, the Ganon fight for Matt. It's 4 phases long. Matt gets the 1 and 1.
Yeah, looks
rather
pretty good.
He is in the second phase, that is, and he does. He gets all the hits. He has random bats, but he gets through without getting touched.
Yeah, I would say that's a really nice use of the hook shot. It looks like Matt was, trying to avoid them. The bats do 4 hearts of damage, so I mean, he's not an Oko,
Yeah.
but it was a very, very timely usage of that hook shot in order to use the iframes. Alright, Tam though, onto Moldorm. Ooh, Tam! Look, aw, that is unfortunately pretty close.
Nice try.
Yeah. Alright, looks like though Matt has actually decided to pull out the lamp in order to get torch glitch. The torch glitch, of course, being that if you light the left one before the right one goes out, then the right one will never go out. It's just a very small window that you can be able to do this. And of course, using the lamp, you can just spam it, and you'll most likely always get it. Of course, being able to get torch glitch gives us enough time to being able to land 3 spins on Ganon before we have to go relight the torch. So certainly very, very nice to be able to have that. If you don't end up getting torch glitch, feasibly you're gonna go for 2. So getting torch glitch is quite good in terms of time saving.
Exactly. And Ganon is down on Matt's side, so GG's to Matt. Meanwhile, we have an Aghanim fight for Tam. They get some tricky patterns.
Yeah, looks like it. Yeah, get your G's on chat for Matt. ZS, thank you, ZSR Bat. Matt has finished with first place in the time of 1:26:43.
Tam is out of bounds. This is not legal.
Tam has already Matt has already finished this race. we can, at least Tam gave us a nice entertaining preview of what can happen if you potentially run some more glitched modes.
And Tam is now falling to Ganon.
Yeah, it looks like also we got the initial spin. So also good positioning. Looks very favorable in order to try and also get there one-on-one. All right, Tam looks like these look like regular bats, right? Nothing really, I guess, weird about them. But I guess maybe Tam had a good Ice Armos fight, and then Matt ended up having more of a panic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise, this is kind of what you might, I don't know, if expect or have expectations for Ganon fight, but this is certainly a very well done Ganon fight so far. Tam also, oh, Tam using the Fire Rod, very nice. Slightly different timing, of course, and it is a bit more precise in that you can't just spam the Fire Rod in order to get Torch Glitch, but Tam looks like they know the timing.
Yeah, Fire Rod is a little weird. It is common to spam it, just hitting the Y button 2 times. But, yeah, typically only 1 shot is fired.
Mm-hmm. Alright, just like that, 12 spins down for Tam. Also gonna finish this this run up. Still actually getting a sub 130 time. All things considered, Tam did quite well. I mean, in terms of, Tam, outside probably of some more of the notable and pitfalls in the seat. In this case, dying to Moldorm and then also dying to Mothula. Tam has played very well in terms of being able to read enemy RNG and really be able to basically just come back and keep playing, while kind of suffering in this case some probably the mental and emotional damage. We are, it looks like, joined here by today's winner, matt7898. GG's, Matt. And Tam.
GG's.
GG's.
G. Congrats on the win, Matt. And welcome, Tam. GG on the race. So, Matt, we'll start with you. What did you think of your run?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty terrible. But, like, it's hard. Like, I saw that Tam had a couple deaths, it looks like. And then, after I failed Hammer Yump, despite being on the right pixel, I was just like, I can't really PB, and then you just get into the mode where it's just like, just don't screw up, and you don't generally play well when you're playing like just don't die mode. So I mean, it was kind of messy, but it's fine.
Yeah. So, yeah. So did you see what you did to move Link sort of out of sync to the left in that Ice Armos fight?
Oh yeah. I'm a habitual Ice Armos screwer upper, so that's pretty par for the course for me.
Same.
Yeah, which is too bad I only had 18 arrows, which made it a lot harder to clean up.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you didn't. You got so unlucky with the drops, though. I mean, like you didn't get the one drop you did get. You already got sucked through the door in Eastern before you can even go pick them up.
I know. I did double readies too fast. I almost never do it too fast because I'm bad. But that one time,
I can't believe you're punished for going too fast. Jeez, and without boots even.
True.
Yeah. Tam, I think for what is like, were you guys watching each other? I guess like on the restream and all, or each other's streams for that matter. Kind of getting a sense of like where you guys were.
Yeah, they should have kept the Zooter on based on what happened.
And Tam, that was a bit rough, but you were certainly keeping up, saving time in a bunch of segments. Any highlights of the run for you?
I'm not sure if Tam, you're saying anything. We can't hear you if you are.
Or anything about this run?
Ah, thank you, Dan.
I was kind of hoping that I would die on Victorious, but I didn't.
You persevered. You got through it. I that was a surprising hit. I was watching but didn't quite see why you got knocked to the side there.
I did it really slowly and badly. It was just a sloppy fight.
I think one thing that at least seemed pretty throughout was that you were able to at least recover a lot. You handled enemy RNG very well, like when you were kind of bodied or in Thieves Town for the hallway. You were, I think, completely surrounded basically by all of the berries, and somehow you not only didn't take any damage, but then you also just got through that room, like, and you just kept going. Like, that seemed to definitely be kind of like a moment of panic. Also, I don't know how you only got hit on the first, like, only once by chomps and not twice, but you know, but we're all good. So.
Yeah, Tam squeezed through there at the end. It looked good.
Too bothered by dying anywhere because I figured it wouldn't actually change anything about the outcome of the race.
I'm actually trying to think if there was a situation where, I think, Matt, where you were actually in danger of dying, and I can't think of anything offhand.
No, I didn't have too many scary moments. It was just like a little sloppy. I'm trying to think. I took a bunch of damage in GT Basement, but the Gauntlet RNG was really kind, so I was able to get through that without taking a hit.
Yeah, I think outside maybe of your of Ice Armos, there wasn't probably anything that was really that like stood out, or like that was really like oh my gosh type of moments.
Yeah, and the Hammer Yump too.
Oh
that
right,
was...
oh yeah, that's right. I did forget about that. A good thing, yeah. I think. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm trying to take away some positive from this run, I guess. There was, like, maybe a couple segments that were okay.
He was better than Zero.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not sure. It's like I'm not sure how much, I guess, like the Hammer Yump and Ice Armos took, but I mean, you were within basically 2 minutes of PB, right? I think that's actually, you know, for a race. I think all that being like considered, I think it's actually pretty good. So you certainly did have a very solid run. You got Finstash. Both of you got Finstash. That was pretty cool to see.
Finstash.
True. I miss all the other stuff I like to do though. I miss my Castle Tower chest turn. I got knocked into a weird spot in the by the Moldorm and Hera, so I didn't do the EBJ just because, I don't know, I feel like if you get knocked too low, sometimes the bomb does that weird thing where it doesn't blow you over the gap, so I was just like, I'm not gonna risk it.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. But I think this is kind of like the final week of League, right? And you guys have any thoughts maybe about, I guess, like participating this season? I know, Matt, this is your first season. I think, Tam, you were in last season too, right?
Yeah.
Overall, I guess did you enjoy your time? You know, thoughts about the format, or you know, any feedback? I guess.
I really like it. I'm glad I got to do it once. I was kind of feeling like I missed out on the first one, and saying that I was going to join this one kind of kept me playing the game a little bit when I had stopped for a while. So that's kind of nice. I don't know. I said I wanted to have one good run of the 4, and then I would be happy. And I had one pretty good run with my race against Aerie, so I guess I can be satisfied with that. It's a lot of fun. It's nice to have like this NMG competition, and it's something that's like not super serious, and it's not a huge time commitment. So it's really kind of the best of all worlds, at least for me right now. So I really like it. If it happens again, I may join depending on what's going on in my life, but we will see.
I really like that League exists. Even if I had some pretty bad runs this season, it's still something that I enjoy participating in.
Oh, that's great. No, that's really great to hear.
Yeah, like competing in NMG is so challenging and it's so like nerve-wracking that being able to do more of it and like kind of get used to it makes it more fun. Like the more you do it, the more you get used to it. So it's kind of nice not to have like a tournament once every 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, right, and you mentioned this. It's very bite-sized, right? It's only 4 weeks. It's only 4 races. You just kind of, get in, get out, and then you're good. So, yeah, but really glad that to hear in this case, like both of you kind of enjoyed your time.
Yeah.
Box.
All right, are we good to wrap up?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Unless you
just
guys have other
thanks a lot,
thoughts.
guys, for everything. Commentary, restreams, for the whole league. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a bunch of fun to watch, and thanks for commentating with me, Clear Mouse.
No, thank you, Chex. Always fun.
Take it away.
All right, and with that, we're going to go ahead and sign off here. I want to thank our runners, Matt7898 and Tam, for putting on an awesome race for us to watch tonight. Thank you to our commentators, Chex Human and Clear Mouse. And with that, we're going to go ahead and sign off here. We're going to go raid the main ZSR channel. They've got a Ocarina of Time randomizer qualifier going on, and we're going to go give them some support. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Hope you had a wonderful time and have a fantastic rest of your night. Bye!